Hey, hey, hey! Welcome back to the Scorpio channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to do a general message for Scorpio. Know that energy is fluid, roles could be reversed. Interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also know on this channel, I like to dive deep. So we look at everything, but we take more times to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, see how they play it as karmic themes. Why? Because these readings are healing and they're empowering. That's why. Because they help you understand why things are playing out the way that they are within your connection, why you're attracting that person, what you need to do to change the energy. That's why. Because there's many different realities that play out at one time. Your level of consciousness depends on your core beliefs. Your core beliefs will determine your habits and your behaviorisms. And a lot of times, the habits and behaviorisms that we created in childhood for our survival, perceived survival, psychological and emotional survival, will be what takes us down, what blocks us from manifesting what it is that we're trying to manifest within, whether that's a healthy relationship, whether that's financially. So again, we always want to realize what it is that we're doing. We want to create as much awareness as possible so we can create our own heaven on earth, per se. All right. Now, if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, you got to like the video, subscribe to the channel, write the word of the video in your comment bar. The word of the video is always on the first card that I pull out. It's the underlining energy that tells me why everyone's doing what they're doing. That's really important when we're looking at shadows, because when people have shadows, spiritual blocks, they wear facades. They create a lot of illusions. So you can feel that there's something off, but you can't put your finger on it. Then you're looking at this person and you're like, I feel one thing, but it's again, they're showing me something else. Or this person does X, Y, and Z, whatever that is. And that could be every time I let down my guard and I finally think I'm getting comfortable in the relationship, the person runs away. It could be something like that, which is really irritating. It creates when you're in a relationship with someone that has commitment issues, it triggers your abandonment issues. That's just an example. There's 1,000 of them, but there is always a way to integrate the spiritual lesson. There's always a spiritual lesson, first of all. Whenever you're dealing with a soulmate, a karmic mate, a past life, it doesn't matter. There's always a spiritual lesson. And that should make you feel better, because it's like taking a test and failing it. When if you take a math test and you fail it, you don't hate yourself. You don't think it's the end of the world. You don't think that there's something wrong with you. You might just think, I'm not that great in math. Well, it's the same thing in life. When we date somebody and we get hurt, it's not because there's something wrong with us. However, a lot of times when we're dealing with someone that hurts us, we then kind of take it on as if there's something wrong with us, or that we don't really understand why that person did what they did to us, but it makes us feel really bad. And we're like, and it makes us feel as if sometimes we have to change something, or sometimes we just get stuck in the feeling of that person walked away from me. I thought that they loved me, but they left me and they went with someone else. And, so now that that's somebody else that they desire, why isn't it me? That's an example. But nevertheless, that type of situation or scenario again creates trauma, and trauma creates behaviorisms, and these behaviorisms we tend to carry around with us, and we go into relationships, or every relationship, with our baggage until we heal. And problem is that that baggage is the karmic themes that continue to play out until we heal. That's why they always say, if you don't heal you're gonna bleed all over the person that you're with, right? That's an example that people say. That's why like healing is really important, because you want to be a clear conduit for spirit to work through. You're in physical form to learn and to manifest. You're a spiritual being having a human experience. So when relationships don't work out, it's not because you're bad, it's because you're stuck in a limited perception about yourself, the situation, and you're most likely trying to change that situation by doing something to actually physically change the relationship. And sometimes it's like to manipulate, to do something, and that what winds up happening is the relationship winds up getting worse and worse and worse. We always know when we're in a karmic relationship because it keeps us stuck in a lower vibration. It keeps us a lot of times bound to the childhood trauma that we grew up in. So if you didn't get the emotional support, if you were bullied by a parent, if you were victimized by a parent, whatever it was, if you just inherited your parents' their sabotaging behaviorisms, whatever it is, until you heal it, you will continue to play out as the karmic theme. So we always want to be able to manifest our life and know that we're strong within manifesting our life the way that we want to manifest it. Otherwise, we'll manifest our life, but we're going to manifest it in a way that when we're not present, when we're not conscious, and that tends to mirror our wounds, our spiritual blocks, and into experiences that keep us in a place of fear, disempowerment, any lower vibration, right? So the word of the video is going to be mistrust. Mistrust. Well, I feel like you're connected to someone that there's absolutely no trust in this relationship anymore. And I feel like your person has a very bad time trusting anyone. And that's because they don't trust themselves. They have they're the sabotager. That's their archetype, I feel like. Just someone that tends to get in their own way. And it's because they have trauma that they have never healed from childhood. And it continues to play out. That's why I said what I said. A lot of times in the beginning of reading, spirit will like talk about something a little bit and I'll channel something. I don't realize that I'm channeling it. And really, that's really what this is. It's like the underlining energy is that you're dealing with a person that doesn't trust anyone. But I also believe that you have major trust issues. And I believe that you both have major trust issues because you both grew up in very similar environments. So environments where you just didn't feel safe. You just didn't feel safe, whether that was an alcoholic parent, whether that was being around a parent that was just always angry. So no matter what you said, they were always looking to start a fight. A lot of parents, when they're not happy, parents are just people. And unless they know how to deal with their stress, which a lot of them didn't, there wasn't the time that they were sitting around doing yoga and breath work. They got caught up in the day-to-day problems. And that's what happens when we are, inherit family karma, ancestral karma. It's the fact that we watched our parents struggle. We watched our parents like not trust anyone because they got victimized over and over and over again, but they got victimized because they weren't present, because they had addictions, because they didn't show up for themselves. And really, mistrust is all about that. It means you don't trust yourself, because trust doesn't come from trusting other people. Trusting comes from, I trust that I have good discernment about who is in my environment and what is in my environment. The problem is that you and this person are going into a relationship where you're blocked off. So it's not going to work, even though that there's a spiritual connection. There's a spiritual connection, but there's no trust. And you might say, well, they did, ABC, and some cheated, some just emotionally cheated, but they don't show up for you emotionally. They don't give you time. They don't listen to your concerns. There's a sense of paying too much attention to the physical connection and not enough to the emotional connection. So there's a sense that they don't fulfill you. They don't give you what you need because you need someone that's emotionally going to be there. And this person, I feel like, again, they're a sabotager. They sabotage themselves. There really is a spiritual connection, but this person is so stuck in their ego because they don't feel good about themselves. And I say stuck in their ego, they care too much about what it's going to look like. They don't want to seem like they care too much. They hold back, they breadcrumb. And the problem is that if a person doesn't trust, like this person does not trust, they have a closed heart chakra, but they have feelings. So they're going to breadcrumb. So what that looks like is it looks insulting. This person doesn't think that it looks insulting. They think, well, I'm just getting to know you, but I'm trying to be safe about it. But no, you have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And it's because you have trust issues, but you have trust issues because of what you create. You have intimacy issues. And you're not giving me what I need on an emotional level, so I don't trust you. When meanwhile, you have 2 people now that have feelings for each other, but aren't showing up for each other. And what's happening is animosity is building, resentment is building, because you're both not getting what you need. And there's a sense like, no, you should change. No, you should change. But there's still a strong spiritual bond. So it's almost like you're holding on to a cognitive dissonance, which is I want it, but I don't. Like, I'm so mad. I'm so upset. I'm so triggered. And I feel like your person is also. And it's all because, again, that second chakra is imbalanced, and that on both of you. And it's because when you grow up in an imbalanced environment where you don't trust your parents or you don't trust what's going on, you don't feel safe. Well, you unconsciously program yourself to look for things. And then I feel like communication is not good because that second chakra is blocked. And the second chakra is all about one's individuality. It's finding balance in the relationship because you can go with the flow of life. You have balance in your life because you're giving to your life in a way that's fulfilling you passionately and emotionally. I don't feel like when you met this person, you were in that space. And I certainly know that your person is not in that space. It doesn't mean that they don't like what they do. Also, I feel like they do like elements of their job, but there's certain things within their job that are not fulfilling them. And life is a lot more than just work and home, work and home. It has to be that we create experiences, that we have an open heart so we can connect, not just to each other, which that's not what's happening here with you and this person, but also within other friendships, through hobbies, through interests, through otherwise, I feel like your person has trust issues. You have trust issues because both of you have been in codependent relationships before. You came from environments that were codependent. So growing up in a survival mode. So this is very like root chakra imbalance, okay? When we don't trust. And I always feel like this person like is wearing a blindfold, even though they're not wearing a blindfold. And I almost feel like it's a sense of like, that they can see, where really, if we can tune into ourselves, and if we can do that when we are not so focused on our relationship, and if we're so afraid that our person's never going to show up and emotionally give us, then you're not in the relationship. You're overstimulating yourself with what this person's going to do, what they should have done. And I feel like this is what you and your person are like kind of stuck in. So there's a spiritual connection, but there's also like the relationship is strained because it continues to trigger old wounds. I know that was a lot from one card, but it gives us the framework of why we're going to see what we're going to see, and why you and why your triggers of what they are, and why your person's triggers of what they are, and why things play out the way that they do. So, and once you understand, you have new awareness, and having new awareness allows you to change certain elements of the relationship so you get a better outcome. That's why. Or at least you don't inherit the negative karmic retribution, which happens when you're dealing with the karmic. Okay, lost. So I feel like this person, because they don't know how to treat you. They don't know what to do in a relationship, to be honest with you. And it's because their own ego gets in the way. And then what happens is like you don't know what to do. And this is what I was saying before. It's like you have feelings, but this person you don't trust because they don't show up for you. So you don't really know how to deal with this situation. And this person again knows that no matter what they do, they don't do the right thing. They have a lot of spiritual blocks around relationships. They feel inadequate. And they feel inadequate because all their relationships don't work out. So they don't really know how to approach this situation at this point. You're not talking to them. You haven't talked to them in a while. I feel like, and they would have to actually, surrender their ego a little bit. I feel like they're lost because of that. And really, what you keep seeing, I feel like, is that they're not trying hard enough, and that there's always a sense that I feel like you feel like they're always in search to like find somebody else to because this relationship is difficult. You trigger them, they trigger you, you're off more than you're on in this connection. And so you always feel like, well, I always feel like you have one foot in, one foot out, that you're searching for someone else. You're not really working through the issues where you see change behavior. You're not listening to what my concerns are. And so all those times that we're off, that's an opportunity for you to talk to somebody else. So you may not be cheating on me when we're together, but it's almost like, well, our relationship's on, off, on, off, on, off, and then you're talking to people in between. So you're in search for something else, and this person's like, no, I'm in search to find the answer. And so I talk to different people and I try to get their perspective. So this person won't talk to you, but they'll talk to random people that they don't have an emotional connection to, that they don't have feelings for. Now, that doesn't mean that they're not of the opposite sex. And I feel like they're insignificant relationships. This person doesn't have a problem giving time, giving energy to random people on the internet or random people that they meet. But to actually be able to have a conversation with you and be vulnerable and transparent, well, then that's going to be a problem. And so even if they're in search for the answer and they're going to talk to other people about it, and I don't feel like they're outright with those people either. I feel like they lead those people on so that they get attention, so that their ego gets fulfilled. However, they'll be like, yeah, I have a friend, and I don't know why they do what they do, but they haven't talked to me in a while, and this and that, and then they get the advice from that person that thinks that, oh, you're hitting on me, you're giving me attention. No, they're not giving you attention, they're using you, because you're a placeholder. They're wasting time. They're talking to you about what they should do. They know what they should do. They don't want to do it. They want to be told how you're the bad guy, how you should go back to them, how that you're overreacting, where really that's not what's happening. This person really has one foot in, one foot out all the time, and they can have 1,000 reasons on why, but it doesn't make you feel safe. But this person wants you to be able to be in this relationship where they can come and go as they please. And so really, it's like you feel like that this person is emotionally cut off. It's like they don't share what's going on, because again, they don't share their emotions, okay? They have trust issues, and that happens because they have real feelings for you. This is what we call a second chakra imbalance, where it's an intimacy issue. That's a trust issue. The second chakra is all about our individuality. It's our emotional center. It allows us to go with the flow of life. It's our birthing center, and it's our birthing center through, again, creating our life. What are we going to become? What are we birthing into manifestation? What is it? And that's part of our identity. It's where we're putting our time, our energy, our focus, our money, our passions, right? This person doesn't do that. I feel like this person creates facades because they feel empty. They really are, have commitment issues because they lose themselves in the relationship. And it's because there's no balance. They either, I can't think of the word. What is that? It's a love bomb. That's the word. They either love bomb or they don't give anything at all. They're avoidant, and so there's no balance. And that's because this person is led by their emotions, but their emotions are not balanced, because again, they're not balanced. So what'll happen is it's like, today I want you. Today I have feelings and emotions, but tomorrow I may not, because I was with you yesterday. So it's, again, this person lives by their feelings and their emotions, which is not going to be balanced, because if they have a bad day, well, then guess what? Now they're going to have a bad day with you. They're going to project a lot. They're going to reflect a lot, because they don't know how to self-care. And what happens then is codependency, that this person doesn't know how to work through their feelings. They don't know how to work through they, they don't know how to have a conversation. They don't know how to carry on an intimate, transparent relationship, because they're withdrawn. They don't want to, again, show their feelings, show their emotions, but they'll give time and energy to random people. So again, of course, you're going to feel like, well, you have one foot in, you have one foot out. You don't really, I feel like you're always in a place of doubt. I don't really know what's going on with our relationship. I don't feel like this person wants a committed relationship. I don't even know really how they feel about me. And I feel like you felt like you were being toyed with, because they were giving enough. They didn't realize they were it was more insulting, their breadcrumbing, than anything else. They're thinking that they're keeping their foot in the door. They ain't thinking that they're trying to keep the lines of communication open. And really all that they're doing is creating a lot of hostility, to the point that you got intolerant to it, because you're it's still you're still neglecting me. And really what you're doing is you're neglecting yourself, because you're cutting yourself off from the intimacy in the relationship, and the intimacy in the relationship is trust. It's being able to be transparent. It's to be able to really have that emotional bond that allows you to get through difficult times in a relationship. Otherwise, you would feel that the person has one foot in, one foot out. They only want to be in the relationship when things are good. That But they're going to sit there and talk to random people about your relationship and what they should do, when really that person doesn't know about you, that's giving advice. They're not even being transparent to that person. That doesn't mean anything. And I feel like you just felt like you talked to this person too many times about the same thing, that you started to feel like it was actually like emotional abuse, that it was psychological abuse. Because I'm telling you what the problem is, and you're going to sit there and talk to other people. You're literally not going to give me anything, and that's abuse, whether you don't think that it's abuse or not. It's abuse, and I feel like you got tired of it. Where this person has gone through abuse, but I feel like it was more from their childhood that they've never really healed from, and that it has affected their relationships, all of their relationships. Yeah, you got tired of being ignored. It's like, that's what it is, because the person is just kind of wants to form a very strong intimate bond where it's physical, but doesn't want to give you what you need emotionally, and then you really feel alone. And there's nothing worse than being in a relationship and feeling alone. It's like you don't know whether this person's reliable today, whether they're gonna show up, they're not gonna show up, what they're gonna do again, because everything's relying on their moods, and they're not balanced. So it's like, you're like, I'm not getting what I need. And that's the thing, this person takes emotionally from you, but they're not capable of giving you emotionally. But it doesn't mean that they don't have feelings. They have feelings for you, but how they display their feelings, I feel like, is not through verbal. Like they would do like acts of service. They would do something for you, because I feel like they have a very hard time communicating. I just feel like they refuse to create that emotional bond to you, even though that there's already a spiritual one, where when you have a spiritual one, there's a connection, but they refuse to feed it anymore. And that totally destroyed the relationship, because again, that they ignored you. But now this person is like, sometimes they stay awake and they think about you because you walked away. This person never thought that you were going to walk away. Again, in spite of you both triggering each other, there is unconditional love. This person just never thought you were going to walk away. And you may say, no, there's not. You wouldn't be this angry. You wouldn't be this triggered. And this person wouldn't be. They're still thinking about it. I wish things could be different. They could be different, but they don't have the guts to do what's different. They play a lot of games, meaning they hide behind their ego. They want to do what's easiest for themselves. And in that, and that's, you do always what's easier for you, and that always seems to be, it always seems to be where that means that you don't emotionally have to show up for me. And you're like, I'm tired of it. Finding out the truth crushed me. I feel like this person thought that you were going to chase them. In their mind, they don't think that you like them that much. See, this person's insecure as well. There's a part of them that needs somebody to chase them. So they get a lot of attention from talking to these random people, and they refuse to look at that, when really they have an unrealistic expectation of what you were supposed to do in the relationship, not when you weren't getting anything emotionally from this person. And that's the thing. It's like now they're going to act upset because you finally got to a place of I'm done with the abuse. I'm done with the abuse. I can't, I'm intolerant to it. It's like I don't trust you. So there's a major intimacy issue here now. I don't react when people mention you. Yeah, this person's all in their ego. They're gonna not say anything. They're not gonna, because they can't show that they have feelings, but they're gonna stay awake thinking about you and ruminate on you, but they're gonna stay stuck. And that's what I'm saying. This person is stuck, but they're stuck because of their ego. I feel like you just got to a place where you're like, I'm stuck because I had feelings this should have worked, but because you want to be an asshole and be all prideful and in your ego and really not give me what I emotionally need from you, you're willing to like sabotage the relationship. And they are. They've spent time talking to random people, feeding connections that they know that they don't want to be in that connection. But that person that they're talking to doesn't know that, and they're getting a lot of attention, and that makes them feel good, so they can hold back from you and be like, oh, well, I wish things could be different. No, they could be, but you'd have to be man, you'd have to be a woman, you'd have to do something, but no, you don't want to do anything. And so this person will lie to themselves and say that they'll, oh, I wish things would be different. Yeah, no. I'm going to go deeper just to see what the energy is. I feel abandoned. I often feel like others let me down. So this is what it really comes down to. It's like, if you knew me, you probably wouldn't like me. Again, this is why, because people don't stay. People leave. So if I'm actually transparent and show my feelings, show my emotions, and you leave, well, then I'm going to be crushed. So I'd rather not, which means that you have to overcompensate for my lack. I'm not going to give you what you deserve, but I feel like you should give me. Oh, and now that you're not giving to me, now I'm going to be hurt. Now I'm going to be hurt. But meanwhile, I'm going to sit here and talk to all these other people because, hey, I'm getting what I need. I know that it's wrong, but it's like, and that's this person abandons themselves. So that's why they do what they do. Are they going to do anything? Are they going to do anything? I feel like this person knows that if they come back, they would have to put in a lot of effort. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to figure out whether or not they would even want to do that. And then, to be honest with you, because I think that, again, they do have feelings for you. It's not like they don't. But what I see is that they say, well, it would be really hard work. I would have to, and it would take a lot of effort, and you would have to be patient, and they would have to be patient. And I don't think that they want to do that. Like, in order for them to repair this connection would need to be, they would have to put the time and effort and energy and a lot of energy. And they know that. So that's part of it. So they're kind of like thinking, and what it is, it's like, it's complicated. They feel like it would take them like a really long time. Like that they're lost. And I feel like this person tries to like thinks about it. Like I said, I do feel like they think about it, but then they get in their own way. And then they delay it. And this is their sabotaging behavior. They delay it, they get in their own way, they overthink it. You know, they're acting like this is a big problem. Again, that is such a complex problem, that it's so complicated, that it's some big problem to be solved, but it's really not. It's the fact that what it is that they want to come back without having to do the work, is what I feel like. Again, you know, that they'd have to be persistent and be devoted and patient, and again, all the things that they weren't willing to do before. Otherwise, again, that the relationship will die, you know, and they know. But I almost feel like they think that the relationship at this point is like done. And because you don't care. That's what they think. They think that like the relationship is like literally like dead, like you don't care, that it's over. And that again, it's that they made, and that's the problem. Instead, like really, if they would have came back, like they make the problem so much bigger. Like it's a big mess now. It's so complicated now because they keep getting in their own way. Like it's become out of control. Okay, like where it's become such a hassle. And again, patience needed to fix everything that they did. And there's a sense that you're like, I don't have patience anymore. I don't trust you anymore. And now you're asking for patience. So that's no. You don't have patience because they played all the games and then held back, held back, held back. So by the time that they actually come back in, they're going to be like, well, like it's a problem, it's a hassle. They have to put real work, real effort in, consistent. And really, I just feel like what this person is going to try and do is that, you know, like make up a story, okay? Like make up a story to make you feel bad, where really it's like this person was doing whatever they wanted to do and they were out of control. And now they want patience from you when really you're like, all I see is problems and hassle because I don't trust you. And that's really when you damage the connection, where this person knows that. They know it. It's like, and that's what holds them back. That's why they say, oh, I wish things could be different. No, like they would have to be different, but you'd have to put in so much work to fix it. And that's what holds this person back. They're like, I don't really want to do all that. I don't really want to do all that. It's like, and I feel like there's a sense that, yeah, that this person has learned a lot from this connection. I feel like it's making them look deep within inside of themselves and wonder why they did what they did, like you said, because look, they're looking beneath the surface within themselves, knowledge, learning, seeing what's hidden. And really what's hidden is, why did they play all these games? Why did they sabotage this connection? It's like that really, again, it wasn't even what they did. It was all the holding back and waiting and wasting time and talking to other people and doing everything in spite, just instead of expressing, instead of communicating. I feel like at most that this person might have done is like so small, like maybe reached out on Facebook or Instagram and like, or some stupid like tiny little thing, like a message that says, hi, how are you? But like something that is so small. But again, this person needed to broadcast it. they need to you want to be chosen. You want them to again, part of emotionally giving you what you need would be speaking their truth. Again, speaking up, talking about it, communicating. It's this person, that's really the issue. They were never transparent. They wouldn't let you in, but they're gonna give random relationships. And at the end of the day, this is all that you wanted. You were all that you needed, and this person knows it. So it's when I ask, it's what they're going to do. It's I feel like they'll reach out to you on social media, but are they going to be able to communicate the way that you want to? Um, n- I feel like this person, they're going to talk to you, but how they come across is not really going to be vulnerable and witty and nice and skilled. I feel like what it's gonna be is more like a showdown. Like you have to watch out that the sharp tongue, that you don't say anything that triggers this person, and vice versa, because you already have a trust issue and this person has held back from you, and now they're going to approach you in a way that's not balanced, and this is how they continue to sabotage the relationship. So instead of coming to you vulnerable, they're going to say something that's going to come across almost like you're in a showdown because you didn't give them what they wanted you to give them when they didn't give you anything to begin with. It's like you were supposed to. You didn't play it the way that they assumed that you were going to play it. They thought if they, held back, eventually you'd cave in, that by now you were going to come back. And really, after a certain amount of time, they knew that this was not true. And they just sat there anyway. Well, I'm going to wait a little bit longer. Well, I'm going to wait a little bit longer. And maybe you'll get triggered, and hey, then you'll get mad, and then we'll start talking and I won't have to fucking say anything. So this person's a real coward. They're a real coward. There's someone that again is avoidant, and someone that, you know, they have the audacity that if they ran into you, that they would try and start something or say something to, again, to trigger you because they weren't here. And I'm kind of feeling like they already knew they blew the connection. They already know that they would have to come back in and give a lot. They already know that. So there's part of them that's like, I don't know whether I really want to do that, but I can come back in and maybe say something. And if you get triggered, either you're going to get mad or we're going to start talking. It's either going to be one or the other. And again, it's just very manipulative and creates too many trust issues because this person isn't transparent about their feelings. But they're going to sit there and talk to other people on social media. So we have to ask ourselves why you attracted this person. Because they're going to come back. But it's, again, I just feel like they're not emotionally intelligent. So they're not going to handle the situation properly. Disassociated, card number 1. These are your inner child wounds. This is why you attracted this person into your life. Detached, disassociated from trauma. When you grow up in an environment that it wasn't really safe, or it felt not safe, and it could be just emotionally, you didn't feel safe. There wasn't that support. And so to the child, we can't really run away and escape. But we get stuck in fight, flight, or freeze. As a child, it's usually freeze because you can't run from your parents and you can't really take care of yourself. So you just freeze. And when that happens often enough, you disassociate, you detach, because again, that frozen part, what happens is it's like you can't really feel your body. You go up in your head. It's the way that a child survives. That's why you won't remember a lot of things when there's severe trauma that makes you detach, because when you detach, you disassociate. There's no feeling. It's like, I went through it, but it's almost like I watched somebody else go through it. Well, again, I feel like you and this person have that energy because of trauma that you grew up with. Suppression, emotionally suppressed. So your needs, anything that you needed growing up, it's like they were, again, it was kind of like, look the other way. It's not that important. And it could be, well, my parents had other issues. They had other things that they needed to attend to. There was only so much money. So whatever I needed kind of was the last thing to be taken care of. But in that, my wants, my desires were suppressed. So not all the time is it abuse, but when there is disassociation, it usually is. It means that emotionally and psychologically, you were again suppressed. So your feelings didn't matter. Your wants, needs, desires didn't matter. And someone kept telling you who you were instead of allowed your unfoldment process. And that's like this person. This person wants to tell you how things are going to be, and they don't want to give anything, but they want you to give everything. So it's again that we can see the energy is kind of like that low energy, and where this person was unconsciously suppressing you. I'm going to hold back. You're not going to say anything. Eventually you'll get over it. I don't think that that's what happened here. I think that they made the situation 1,000 times worse. Like, it was bad to begin with, but this person made it 1,000 times worse, like a big mess. Okay. Where they didn't get to the point that I feel like that they know that the relationship is dead, but they don't like the fact that it's dead now. That's why they were gonna, like, again, have a showdown with you. That's why they're like, I want to say something, because they're mad. Play. So I feel like as a child, if you were suppressed, you weren't allowed to go out and play. And part of play is part of your individuality, right? How do you find your passions in life? You go out and you play. You invest time in things that interest you. Again, we might not go out and play in our sandbox anymore when we're adults, but we still go out and play. To where that's investing in things that interest us and things that are going to help us to connect to other people and situations, to help us to integrate the energies of that we didn't create in childhood. Because if we were too busy surviving, then if we were detached and disassociated and there's severe trauma, then believe me, we weren't creating our life. If we were being suppressed, where someone, every time we said, hey, I'm interested in this, and we tried to go out and do it, but someone kept telling us that we weren't smart, we weren't good enough, that we didn't have enough money for that, made excuses. Well, then guess what? You were suppressed and you weren't able to go out and play. So there's a chunk of your identity that's missing. And what you're actually attracting is the same energy that you grew up in. Someone that doesn't want to give anything, that wants to abuse you, pretty much. It's like they don't want to give you what you need. They don't want to give you what you need because of their pain, because of what they've gone through in their life. Just because, hey, I don't really feel like it, and this normally works. If I can sit here and get what I want by talking to random people, a bunch of them, starve you out, even though we have this connection, even though what you're asking me really isn't a lot to ask for, I only feel like breadcrumbing you, but I expect for you to give me the whole steak buffet. It's like, and because you're not, and you took your energy away, now I'm mad. And I'm still not going to communicate with you. I'm still going to hold back and talk to these random people. But, I'm going to when I run into you, I'm going to start an argument. I'm going to make it like it's your fault, which, by the way, is another way of suppressing you. Not listening, knowing damn well what they should do to fix the relationship, but they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that at all. And so again, being able to go with the flow, we see dance, right? And I feel like that in spite of the way that you grew up, that was one thing that you were able to do, was always go with the flow. And I say that because I feel like you're someone that's very sensitive, very intuitive. And so you were always able to like tap into what was going on in your environment and adhere to what your spirit needed, what you needed for yourself emotionally, psychologically, mentally. And you did it. And that's how you survived, believe it or not. And so what happened is that this person pushed you right back into that space where again you had to tap into yourself. And I feel like you were like, this is abuse. I had to deal with that abuse growing up, but I certainly don't have to deal with that abuse now. And really, I feel like that was what the karmic lesson was. This person is like, I feel like there's a part of them that just doesn't want to be emotionally vulnerable. They've gotten hurt, people have abandoned them, and they think because of that, it's okay that they do what they do. It's not okay. Not okay. Not even a little bit. And really, what Spirit says is guidance, the spiritual thing. And that's what I said that you had, that intuitive guidance. And this is really what Spirit's saying. In times of uncertainty, I ask God to guide me to the light in my being. And I feel like that was your strength. That's what I said. The dance, that was in spite of you being disassociated, in spite of being brought up in an environment that suppressed you, that didn't allow you to go out and play and discover yourself and find yourself, to fill your cup up all the way up to the top. You again, you were able to tap into your intuitive guidance system, and that's what you did as a child. So that's really kind of cool that out of all these spiritual blocks, the one you have a gift, and the gift is again that you were able to take direction. You were able to listen to your intuition. It says, I am directed to doors that will open into freedom to me, and step forward in trust. In trust, what do we see here? Mistrust. You did not trust this person. I release my faith to God, and my faith is rewarded. So because you listened to God, I feel like doors are opening for you. Again, steering, and this would have been a karmic person that would have prevented doors from opening for you. Because again, they would keep you in a place of disassociation because they would not give you what you need. By them breadcrumbing you suppresses the relationship, suppresses you, makes you not feel loved, makes you feel like you're not good enough, even though you know that you are. This person wanted you to stay connected to them without them doing anything because of them. So really, Spirit says, no, you knew, listen to yourself. Again, listen to yourself. Let God, the higher self, the God part of self is the higher self, the spirit part of self. And that because you were able to, again, listen to that, like, again, you are going to step into opportunities that I swear that this person somehow they would have sabotaged because this was a karmic and you passed the karmic test. And I feel like, how is this person going to feel when all's said and done? You shouldn't ask that question, but I can't help it because it's like, you always kind of want to know, like, because you're not going to be with them, like in this story. So let's just see, and we'll leave it off. I'm just curious. I wish you knew how grateful I am to have met you. So again, they know that they let a good person get away. And that's what bothers them. That's why, like you said, they want to bump into you and have a showdown. That hopefully, like, you'll say something because you did affect them. But again, they're not strong enough to actually be vulnerable and transparent, and that would always create trust issues. And so I'm going to leave that there, Scorpio. You let me know how you resonate with this one. I hope it wasn't too long. All right, bye.